What do you think about Pat Riley versus Jimmy Butler? I'll just start with the top line question and go from there.
I thought Pat interfered with the leader's comment, right? That's where it started, where Jimmy made the comment at the end of last season, like, if I was healthy, we would have took this series, right? It's a normal comment for a top player, right? You lost, but you still try to show your dominance over the other player. Like, y'all beat us, but because I wasn't there. And, when he told him basically, shut up if you're not playing, that probably rubbed him the wrong way. And, trying to get an extension, Pat's publicly making like, yeah, you're only playing 60-something games. I don't know. Like, that was, you can't undermine your star player in the media. That's, but, behind closed doors. It's like yelling at him in front of his teammates. You can't whip your boy in front of his teammates unless you've already pre-programmed. Like, I'm gonna yell at you today to get everybody else in line. You got to do that to a star player. I'm gonna yell at you, but don't take offense to it. Just take it so I can yell at the person I really want to yell at. That's what coaches and general managers do for your star players. So I thought publicly it was the wrong approach, and Jimmy being Jimmy fed right into it. If you're looking for your contract, then you need to come out here like Colbert, MJ in his prime, James Harden, right? You taking 30, 40 shots. Forget wins. You got to, but he started off slow, like he didn't care. And it kind of just, all right, this is the game we're going to play. And from there, just went down a rabbit hole.
I think one interesting thing about this is Pat Riley has proven he'll let anybody go. The only guy he ever wanted to keep, by the way, is the dude who never planned to stay, right? Like, he really wanted LeBron to stay, and it hurt his feelings when LeBron left. And I think the story is he went out there to Vegas to do the meeting, and he realized there wasn't Mav and none of them other cats there for the meeting. It was just him and LeBron, and he was like, damn, I just came here for no reason. But everybody else has wanted to stay, and Pat, Alonzo Mourning, Dwayne Wade, you go up and down the line, and Pat has just ultimately been like, nah, it's cool. We'll deal with that later. They all come back later, right? Like, everybody comes back and becomes part of the team, which has a tiny bit of cult to it, just a faint whiff of culture's behavior. They do all of that, and they all come back. And I think Pat had gotten so used to that, and he thought that he could make this smooth and go through the year, where it's like, come on, man, you know who you were dealing with? That if you weren't going to give him an extension, and Jimmy clearly thought that they could get an extension there, right? Because once it became clear they couldn't get an extension, everything went off the rails, right? All beef at all times. And Pat had the nerve. Well, I guess Eric Spoelstra did it, but it's hard to separate he and Pat to have Haywood Highsmith in this latest thing starting over Jimmy. And that's just like, come on, man. You knew what time that was going to be.
I think Pat hasn't updated his software. I think he thinks this is still the 1980s and 1990s, where the money controls the players, right? When you're talking about 80s and you need this $1 million, you're going to do what I say. And same thing with those Knicks teams. Over the years, right, you lost more control. So Pat, once Jimmy signs that $90 million on his first rookie deal, then $230 million. There's no negotiation with money, right? Money is a non-factor at this point. It's the little things, right? Kawhi proved it, right? Where he was like, well, you don't want Derek. I mean, you don't want Paul George. Well, I'm out, right? Turns down 40 extra million. He already has a bag. He don't care anymore. So once a guy signs for that big max, negotiations after that, it's all on principle. And I don't think Pat really considered that the money wasn't going to control Jimmy, right? You know the mentality. You know he don't negotiate, right? We've seen this pattern. So once you got into the tic-tac of playing mind games, for the most part, Jimmy had all the leverage, right? Because he's verbally said, I don't want to be here. They can't do anything, which now all other teams, if they're smart, like, you're going to take all these nice pieces off the table and say, well, he don't want to be there, so you're going to have to trade him. So I don't need to give you this. I can give you this C-minus player. And just like an organization, they go after his habits, knowing what he normally does, and we're going to penalize him when he does it now, right? Usually Jimmy takes his own flight sometimes. Okay. When he does it, suspension, missed the flight, right? Oh, when he gets here, he likes to stay in his own hotel or Airbnb. And when he does that, team policy, strike his ass, right? So that's all they were going to do until they can suspend him, take back some of that money until they get indefinite. And that's exactly what they did. So I blame Jimmy at this point for not being smart enough to know what they're after.
What do you think about Jimmy in Phoenix? Because that don't seem like the happiest place on earth either right now. And they have an owner that, he's Mr. Quick Fix, right? If there's any quick fix that you could come out there, the quick fix was Kevin Durant. They done that. They get Jimmy. I'm assuming they have to get Nurkic out of there after he basically said, I don't even know who the coach is no more. But I'm not sure, as much as we've talked about the Clippers as being like underachievers over the years, and I'm not sure how fair that is. With the Suns, you got Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and you get Jimmy Butler. You should be a championship contender if you do that, but they're not going to be.
I don't know.
Really?
Because just like when Jimmy was with Minnesota, when Jimmy went to Philadelphia, and when he went to Miami, he is the Scottie Pippen type, right? He does all the tangible things to get the win, right? He understands every quarter is this different quarter. And when you have two guys that can just focus on being great, I can do everything else, right? But if I have to be great and do my job, it's a lot more wear and tear on me. But you two score and whatever, I'll make sure everything else is lining up. And I really believe if he gets to Phoenix, him himself and how he controls situation, let Kevin do what Kevin do, let Booker do it, and he's sitting there just moving pieces around, moving the court around, dictating the game, I think they're going to be dangerous. It's a different, like, Beal is no different than Kevin Durant. He's very quiet, right? He just goes, does the job. They need the Jimmy. Just like Kevin need the Draymond Green, he needs the Jimmy to keep everything lined up.
The NBA is in full swing and the big game is right around the corner, which means you could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game watching your favorite teams only on Prize Picks. You can make a Prize Picks lineup between the NFL and the NBA in as little as 60 seconds. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.